Haze and T in the building. Today's episode, we got Slone, hometown hockey, co-host from Plane. If you like what we're doing, you hit the subscribe button right there.
Hey, this is Slone, the co-host of Rogers Hometown Hockey and the host of Top of Her Game on Sportsnet, and I am on the I Only Touch Greatness podcast.
The number one sports podcast in Vancouver with Ryan Haze and Big Mike.
Hi, Tara.
Hey there.
Hey, is my mic sounding okay? I just bought a new one.
Yeah, sounds good.
Perfect. Thank you for taking the time to come on today. I know you're really busy with your schedule.
Yeah, it's been weirdly busy considering the weird world we live in, but yeah, all good.
And how are you managing to hold up?
We're all healthy and fine, so.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So what was it like? You're born in Halifax, Nova Scotia.
I was born in Montreal, but I grew up in Nova Scotia.
Okay. How was it growing up in Halifax?
Good. I mean, it's a great place to be from. It's a great place to go home to. I think everybody who grew up.
This is I Only Touch Greatness podcast with Ryan Haze and Big Mike. We are going live.
I've never been east outside of BC, so I don't really know what it's like to grow up out there. But so you're also a rock singer. You wanted to be an opera singer when you were growing up. What made you switch to the rock?
I didn't have the discipline really. I studied classical music all through high school and into university. And, at a certain point, it just requires a level of discipline that I did not possess at the age of 19.
Yep.
So, I kind of moved on to other things, but still wanted music to be part of my life and stumbled into a band. I was always a huge fan of rock music, so it wasn't that much of a stretch. So kind of found myself in that world.
And you moved to Toronto to pursue acting and your music.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually you ended up with being the lead singer of Joy Drop.
Correct.
And
yes.
You were nominated for 96 Juno nominee.
2002. I'm not that old. The band formed in 1996, but it's funny because you can be nominated for Best New Group even when you're not very new. So we were nominated for Best New Group. It was on our second album, and we'd already been together for.
Oh, okay. My notes are wrong. I'm gonna have to fire my stat guy.
Yeah. Yeah. No, 96 is when we met. 96 is when we got together.
Okay. What was your first acting gig?
My first, it's weird that I can't remember. I did a bunch of like TV shows and stuff. I did for people who are older like me and above. One of the first things I did was a TV movie, and it was this old TV show called Heart to Heart. So it was a Heart to Heart TV movie. I did like Kung Fu, The Legend Continues. I did a bunch of stuff that kind of shot in Toronto and Montreal. But nothing's too massive. I had a recurring role on La Femme Nikita, which was probably my best known show.
Yep. And I have that on my notes just a little farther down. Are you still signed to Orange Records?
No, they just helped me put out. I did a solo album that came out in 2007. So that album belongs to them. Yeah. But no, I don't have an active record deal. I haven't. That's the last time I put out any new music. So it was 13 years ago. Yeah.
So you're not really doing the music anymore?
No, honestly, my TV career, I made a conscious effort to move out of music full time. I wasn't making the living I wanted to make. And it was, it's a taxing kind of business.
Yeah.
So I still get to do music occasionally now, and I wish I got to do more, but luckily for me, my TV career kind of took off and has been very busy ever since I jumped into it.
Yeah, it definitely has taken off with the hometown hockey. And I mean, I watch that all the time because I'm a big fan. We've actually, today, I released an interview we did, and you also interviewed him with Caleb Dahlgren from
Oh, yeah.
the Humble Broncos.
Mm-hmm.
So we interviewed him. We released that today. And I've also interviewed Jamie Lee Rattray, who you've interviewed as well.
Yeah, I love her.
Yeah, she was great. They were both great, actually. Do you remember that MTV Cribs episode that you were on?
Yes, I do. I had forgotten, but yeah, it's funny because MTV Cribs Canada was so different than MTV Cribs USA. So MTV Cribs USA, everybody's crib was like insanely decadent and decked out and beautiful. And then MTV Canada, like we're all just starving musicians living in apartments. So
Yeah.
that was kind of funny.
2014, you joined the Sportsnet crew and haven't looked back since because you guys have definitely been killing it. And what's it like being with Ron McLean?
Well, I mean, he's really been I call him the most generous broadcaster I've ever known. He was never like, I'm Ron and you're relegated to this and you take care of this and this is mine. He's very, he just wants to get the best interview done, the best story across. And I think that he appreciated my desire to accomplish the same thing. And our work ethics are similar. We both try to dig as deep as we can and work really, really hard and try to make our subjects feel as comfortable as possible. So he was really wonderful and totally welcomed me as his co-host. And I think probably at the beginning had more faith in me than I did. So I owe him a debt of gratitude.
Yeah, Jamie Lee Rattray was saying that he's one person that won't forget your name. Like if you run into him down the road somewhere, he'll remember your name for sure.
Yes, he has a photographic memory. So it's hard as his co-host. You gotta like stay on your toes in order to keep up.
And gotta have your stats proper.
I let him take care of stats.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you take care of the good looks and he takes care of the stats.
Well, I don't know about that. It depends on where you sit, but I try to take care of, other sides of things.
Yeah, of course. Do you have a career highlight or low light?
Highlight, I mean, I would just say hometown hockey in general has been a really eye-opening experience. And we've collectively, I think, learned a lot about the country and learned a lot, from a real educational point of view, really have learned a lot about Canada's Indigenous population that we didn't know before and have tried to be intentional about highlighting that along our journey. And just the generosity of Canadians it's just been kind of mind-blowing. The way that we're welcomed wherever we go has been very humbling. Lowlights, I mean, everybody has their moments. When I hosting a morning show, I hosted breakfast television in Calgary for 5 years. So I had a couple pretty rough interviews. Early morning. Chris Kattan sticks out. Chris Kattan was a SNL. Yeah. He was not in very good shape and he was not very nice.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So that's definitely probably your worst interview until this one, or?
No, this is great. No, I mean, I've also had some bad interviews, in terms of being interviewed more when I was a musician. And, it was like in the late 90s, early 2000s when Howard Stern was huge and everybody was trying to be like Howard Stern. So I got a lot of sexist commentary as a woman kind of being interviewed by rock jocks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite city to visit?
Well, I love going home.
Okay.
So, I mean, I love going to Halifax, but I don't know if that counts. I love going to Vancouver Island. I mean, it doesn't have to be Victoria itself. The whole energy of that place is just absolute magic.
You already answered. You got no new music out right now, right? So what you are doing though is your podcast.
Nothing. No.
But what you are doing is your podcast, and you're killing it. That I saw that you had Stephanie McMahon and Charlotte Flair on.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty.
So it's a full-fledged broadcast. So the intention was that it was going to be just for the internet, although just for the internet is everything. So, but Sportsnet really liked the idea. And so it's now broadcast on Sunday mornings. They moved it. It was Sunday evenings. Now it's mornings before the day of sports is going to be started. So it's called Top of Her Game. And we focus on amazing trailblazing women in the world of sports. So we've had Stephanie McMahon along with Charlotte Flair. This week we have Blake Bolden, who's the first Black professional women's hockey player, the first Black female NHL scout. So, we're trying, it's sort of a variety between some very established women and then also introducing our audiences to somebody they might not have heard of, who I think they'll be inspired by.
Kind of like the next wave. You introduce them to the next wave of people. That's what we're kind of trying to do that with ours, big name people like yourself. But at the same time, we've also we've gone and got all the top prospects that are going to be drafted in the next couple of years. Your Cole Perfettis and all these people have been on the show. We lined up a couple big names and like Theo Fleury's, Kelly Rudy's. We've done the women's national team all within the last couple months. We're only a couple months into this. We've just upgraded all our speakers, our mics, our webcams. It's hard to fix this, but the camera can at least be good.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, it's people will turn it right off if things don't sound good or look good. So
yeah, and that's one thing with the COVID, because it hit, a lot more people have ventured into this online interview type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of competition out there. I've noticed that since I've taken this on.
Yeah.
Okay, this might be feel free to not answer this, but when was the first time you met Don Cherry?
It probably would have been when I came on board for Hometown Hockey. So when Rogers got the NHL contract, they had a big kind of summit where they invited all the broadcasters in and kind of had a few day workshop and stuff. So it would have probably been then. I mean, I honestly, to sort of preempt whatever questions you may have, I don't know Don super well. He was on Hometown Hockey a few times.
Yeah.
I was on the road every weekend, so I wasn't in studio for hockey night. So, he was always nothing but kind to me personally.
Yep. Okay, that's good. I'm a big Don Cherry fan. I'm actually the guy that dresses up at the Canuck games dressed as Don Cherry.
No kidding.
Yeah, if you ever heard of that guy or seen that guy, I've been on TV a lot of times, cranking the siren one time before the game. And okay, what do you think of the Seattle Kraken?
I was hoping that wasn't going to be the name. Obviously, that was the one that was rumored to be, and so I don't know. It's growing on me though, and they've done a great job. The logo looks amazing. The brand looks amazing, and it's got. I mean, anytime you have it's got a good sound to it.
Yeah, that's for sure. I really like the logo. I definitely like how they got the Space Needle in the anchor part.
Really smart.
I didn't even see that until TSN put out a picture look what this is. Really has the Space Needle right here.
Mm-hmm.
You think the arena is going to be called the Crack House?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the danger. They would have weighed that and decided it didn't matter.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, unfortunately, that probably will stick, but hopefully not for most.
A couple more minutes of your time here. What do you think of the 24-team playoff?
I mean, at the beginning, I know everybody was A, confused, B, irritated. At this point, I think it's going to be fun. Everybody's just dying to watch hockey. So I think it's nice for the teams who wouldn't got in otherwise. It'll be fun to watch that round and see what happens. I mean, it's just going to be so interesting, to see, how they're doing these games. And I'm sure we'll get some really cool behind the scenes looks at how this is all going down. But also, like, yeah, I mean, there'll be a lot more healthy players in this, knock on wood, in theory. So it'll be interesting to see where everybody's at in terms of their training. And
it kind of reminds me of like college bowl games where you have like a month off after the season and then you get ready for your playoff games. So you've got the month to heal up and prepare for your competition. I mean, for us, the Canucks, we've known that they've played in Minnesota for a while now. So they've been able to prepare for Minnesota.
Right.
But I hope we get through that. I'm really hoping that, actually. What would we find on your playlist nowadays?
Well, I run a few times a week, so I have some pretty heavy music on my playlist right now. My running playlist has a lot of like Pantera and Alice in Chains and stuff like that. So.
All the heavy stuff.
Yeah, well, I got to get myself motivated.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite sports movie or any movie?
Sports movie? I mean, I love Slapshot like everybody else, but then I always think like there are women's sports movies out there, right? Like A League of Her Own. There are some classic women's, so I don't want to leave those out. Favorite movie, I always say it's Blade Runner. Although Blade Runner is now starting to feel like weirdly like life, so I have to watch it again. Yeah. When it felt like science fiction, it felt further away, but the world feels like science fiction.
That's for sure. It's like we're living in that show Black Mirror.
Exactly.
That, and it's almost like Canada is a country where they're living above the crack house in the States.
Yeah, it's bananas.
That's for sure. Did you have any sports heroes growing up?
I did. I was a huge Matt Naslund fan. My dad is a Habs fan, and so that was our Saturday night ritual growing up, watching the Montreal Canadiens. And so, yeah, for some reason, I mean, speedy, small, fast, good, great hands. So I loved Matt Naslund growing up, and I mean the whole Habs lineage up to '93. I was living in Montreal when they won the cup. So, and I liked Bo Jackson too when I was younger.
Yeah, Bo knows everything, right?
Bo knows.
Yeah, do you have, say, a favorite interview or that you've done or one that you haven't done that you wish you could do, right? Your dream interview. I thought this was it, but
my dream interview. Well, gosh, I feel like that's an answer I usually have at the tip of my tongue, and somehow I'm having like a mind blank.
Okay.
It's funny because like my favorite interviews aren't necessarily with like the biggest, most amazing stars, although that's always a thrill. Like I remember interviewing Mark Messier and being like, Wayne Gretzky. But I have the best feeling when maybe somebody comes in and that they're feeling a bit nervous, and then you're able to make them feel comfortable enough to tell their story, and that you have sort of a genuine exchange. So there are lots of people like, who I've interviewed who you never would have heard of, who were able to just really express themselves. So I take more pride in that than like the big names. I will say though, I've been hosting a show called Budweiser Stage at Home, which is a music show, and tomorrow's our season finale, and Alanis is our headliner, and that was actually a pretty big thrill. That was for sure top. 5.
Holy, yeah, that's definitely a good one for sure.
Yeah.
You ever have you met Cabbie Richards?
You know, I don't think I've ever met Cabbie in person.
Oh,
I mean, obviously we're in the same sort of
industry, yeah.
circles, but again, like I'm on the road all the time, so I don't see people.
That wasn't a question I had. I just kind of threw that in there at the end. I was thinking about it as we interviewed him too last week, Cabbie. So
Yeah. Is he in Las Vegas or did he come back up to Canada?
He's still in Vegas, I think.
Yeah.
I think he stayed in Vegas. Yeah, I haven't edited the interview, so I haven't really picked it apart and listened to it. Yeah, I'm pretty much out of questions. We went a lot faster than I expected, but
sorry, I try not to be super long-winded. It's, I don't want to bore anybody.
Hey, you're not boring me. I'm thankful for having you on the show, and I will get in touch with you as soon as I've edited all this. I'm going to have to do a lot of editing. I'm pretty nervous here getting to interview this big star. So.
Oh, shush. Well, thank you for your interest, and I appreciate it. Hey, this is Tara Slone, the co-host of Rogers Hometown Hockey and the host of Top of Her Game on Sportsnet, and I am on the I Only Touch Greatness podcast.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you for taking your time with me.
Pleasure. Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.